Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Jeff at Lockdown Security, www.lockdownsecurity.ca, and I'm bringing you a video today on a 2016 Subaru STI that we just did a bunch of work to. This particular vehicle, 2016 STI, equipped with the Starlink navigation system, Harman Kardon factory amp. Client came in, wanted to replace the navigation system with a Kenwood DDX 9703S CarPlay and Android Auto head unit because he wasn't happy with the Subaru Nav, and we agree with him. The Subaru navigation was not that great, so we ended up replacing with the Kenwood unit. And I just wanted to make a video to show you some of the things that we did and some of the things that we retained and how we went about doing what we did on this car, which was install a new head unit, installing an amplifier, and installing a new backup camera on the vehicle. So I'm going to hop in and show you a few things. As you can see, beautiful car, beautiful color. This car was brand new pretty much when it came to us. Well, almost brand new. It has 21,000 kilometers on it. So this is the head unit here, Kenwood DDX 9703S. For many of you that are aware of this head unit, it is Kenwood's flagship DVD, CD, AM, FM player. It has Android Auto capability as well as Apple CarPlay capability. The one thing it lacks is does not have onboard navigation, but navigation can be supplied from your smartphone, whether it is Android Auto or whether you're running Apple CarPlay. So a couple of things. First things, cameras. So this client had a pre-existing dash camera on the vehicle. He wanted to retain that. I'm laughing at the little character he's got in his mirror. He wanted to retain the dash camera and be able to pipe video from the dash camera into the Kenwood as a front camera. So that's the first thing we were able to do. So there you go, that's the front camera view. As you'll see, that's the front. Now, if I touch the screen, I'm gonna switch to the rear camera view. As you can see, I'm able to get the rear camera even when I'm not in reverse, and that is how we wired that's allowed because of the way I wired the rear view camera. The power input to the rear view camera. But this is the rear view camera here. This is a Rydeen LED2 rear camera. We had to swap out the factory camera because we tried to interface it with this new head unit, and we were told that you could do it, but nothing we did was able to get it to actually function on the screen. So what I did was I removed the OEM camera, I installed this Rydeen camera, and I'm just gonna hop out of the car and I'm gonna show you exactly what that looks like on the hatch. So the OEM camera is located there. That's the Rydeen camera that I've installed. What I had to do was I took apart the trunk lid, I removed the OEM camera bracket, I had to Dremel it out a little bit to get the Rydeen camera in. I removed the OEM bracket from the Rydeen camera, and I was able to get it to fit and mount securely, and it looks just like factory, performs just like factory, and you would never even know that that was not the factory camera. So that's what we did for the backup camera. I would have liked to have retained the Subaru camera. We're told that a company called AutoHarnessHouse.com makes a harness, but the harness is listed as working for the 2015s and has not been tested on the 2016s yet. At some point in the future, we will test that, but for right now, we weren't successful in integrating the OEM camera, so we had to put this Rydeen camera in. What we also did in the trunk, and I'll show you right now, we bypassed the Harman Kardon factory amp, which is right there. We were able to integrate all of the factory OEM speakers, including the sub, by installing a 5-channel dB drive amplifier right there in the left-hand side of the trunk. Now, you'll see that there's this foam panel in the trunk. There is a foam panel from factory that goes there, but we removed it and we installed the amplifier in its place. It sits perfectly. This cabling fits, or the paneling fits, I should say. You would never even know there was an amplifier in the trunk. We retained all the connectors for the Harman Kardon amp, so if he ever does want to go back to factory, he can do so. The reason why we didn't retain it is, again, there is an amplifier retention harness for the older STIs, i.e. 2015 and older, but nothing that we've been able to source for the 2016. And not only that, but the client was in a rush to get the car done, and we couldn't wait to order any additional parts, so we had to do what we had to do, and that was bypass the factory amp, install the DB drive 5-channel. 5-channel was able to give us all of the outputs we needed for factory speakers to work, and provided the capability for us to tune the system. If I go to the audio menu, have to turn the tuner on. So let's do that. We'll turn Sirius. We put a Sirius tuner in here as well. So we've been able to retain full balance and fader, just like factory. I don't have the volume up, so it's kind of hard to hear the rears right now. We've also been able to retain subwoofer control. So the client can independently turn subwoofer up and down, and can also obviously tune crossover frequencies, equalizer frequencies, and all of that, using the Kenwood head unit as the base and then the DB drive as the amp to provide the power to the factory speakers. So pretty in-depth job. The last thing I wanted to show everybody was we ran the USB cable into the center console. We also ran, that's the HDMI. USB for CarPlay is right here. One of the things we also did was we retained the OEM USB ports, but the problem with retaining the OEM USB ports is CarPlay will not function through those ports. We're not 100% sure why. We believe it's something to do with either the amperage output of the USBs or the data output of the USBs. But long story short, if you use the USB retention harness, you can only retain those USB ports for charging and not for CarPlay. If you need CarPlay, you got to run the Kenwood USB, which is what we've done here. Client wanted it in the center, so that's where we ran it. And that's that. We would have liked it if we could have retained the OEM USB port, but in this case, like we said, CarPlay wouldn't work, so we couldn't retain it. And that is pretty much that. I mean, there is a lot more to go through. The client's gonna have to tune the system and go through everything, but obviously, Kenwood DDX 9703, great addition to this car if you're looking to upgrade the performance of your STI and you're not happy with the factory nav. This is a great unit to go with, especially if you're a user of your smartphone's nav and you're looking for Android Auto or CarPlay. So that concludes the video. Hopefully you stuck around this long to watch it. I know it's a long one, but if you or someone you know is interested in adding CarPlay or Android Auto to your vehicle, call Lockdown Security today. Lockdownsecurity.ca is our website. 1-866-824-4118 is our phone number. Email is sales@lockdownsecurity.ca. Lastly, if you like this video, hit the like button, and if you could, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It goes a long way to help us make more videos like this in the future. Thank you very much, and have a great day.